Here we are again with today a special gem, I think. This is the Ricoh XR-S, and the S here is a red S and it stands for solar. What that means I will tell you later. First of all, let's have a look at the camera. It is a fully automatic, well, not fully automatic camera, it's a camera with aperture priority if you want. Here you have the shutter speed dial, and the shutter speeds go from 16 seconds to 1/1000th of a second. Furthermore, you have here, if you want to change it from A, that is the automatic mode for aperture priority, you can set it to L, that means a lock, that means you cannot shoot the shutter. B is bulb. Now, very nice camera. The shutter is electronic and it's being fed by a 3-volt battery. Originally, this camera had a rechargeable battery. I will come back to that later. But since that little battery is not available anymore, you can also run this camera on 2 LR44 or 2 SR44 batteries, as long as it is 3 volts. Like I said before, I will get back with to explain these little things here. Now let's have a further look at the camera. The camera has several features. This little button here, you can activate the shutter speed, the light meter. In the viewfinder, you can see with a LCD little LCD beam, what the shutter speed is, and you see that on the right side of the viewfinder. You see the shutter speeds, and on the bottom, at the bottom of the viewfinder, you find the exact aperture you have chosen. So the viewfinder gives you all the information, the shutter speed and the aperture you have chosen. Furthermore, this camera has a very good light meter, and you can freeze the light meter. Like for instance, I point at a sunny part, I press this button and the shutter speed needed for that part will be memorized by the camera. And then when I point the camera to another direction, that same shutter speed is memorized by the camera. If I want to erase that memory for this moment, I can do two things: fire the shutter or press this button again. This little handle here is the depth of field switch, so you can see what the effect of your aperture is. The lens mount is a Pentax K-mount. On this camera I have a beautiful 1.4 Ricoh lens, very nice lens. The camera also has a self timer. It's here, stated self. Well, you simply do it like this. You press the self timer, you see the light blinking, a little beep. The light will go faster in a while, and then the shutter fires. So on the back we have another little button, and this is a button for multi exposures. So if you want to make multiple exposures on one little slide on one piece of film, you can do that with this button. All in all, the camera feels very, very solid. It sounds very solid. It's I think very well built. I mean, look at this camera. It is from 1981. It is almost 45 years old. It looks like new. It feels like new. The shutter, however, is electronic. That means you always need a battery to operate the camera. And here I come back to the solar screen. This camera used to have, by origin, a rechargeable 3-volt battery. And that 3-volt battery you had to put in here. And if you had put that battery in it, a little switch was activated, and when that switch was activated, the little solar panels were also activated, were engaged. So if you put in LR44 batteries, because of your rechargeable battery is empty, that little button is not pressed and the solar panels are not activated. So this thing could switch the charge for the rechargeable battery automatically on and off. Because these solar panels are here to recharge the battery inside. Now, I bought this camera very cheaply because the rechargeable battery wasn't there anymore. And they're not for sale anymore. However, I have found an alternative. I will share with you the exact type of battery in the description of this video. But the battery you can use is a Panasonic 3-volt rechargeable button cell battery. However, the battery is very, very thin, very slim, and it only produces 17 milliamps. And that's a little bit, that's not enough to operate this camera. What I have done, I have taken 4 of those little rechargeable Panasonic batteries and put them in parallel. So I still have 3 volts, but the milliamps are now 68. I've tried it, and it is enough to operate this camera fully, like it should. And what I've also tested is that the batteries are being recharged by these solar panels. To do so, I put the Panasonic rechargeable batteries in here, the 4, in parallel. And I also slided in a little tube to press the button to engage the solar panel, and when the solar panels are engaged, they will charge the rechargeable batteries in here. So every time it's in daylight or in sunlight, the batteries are being recharged. And I left it on for a long time, pressed it on and on and on again, and took out the batteries to test it, you know, if how much they lost in power. But they hardly lost anything, and that is because they get charged every time this camera is in daylight, not even in direct sunlight, but in daylight. So with this little modification, with this little battery of Panasonic, you can make this camera fully function again like it should, in the sun, in daylight. The batteries are being charged. Well, I'm very enthusiastic about this camera. I don't think there are any more like this. I know these ones were produced also under different brands, but the general idea to, there's always in photography people want fully manual because you're not depending on batteries. I think for an electronic camera with all the virtues of an electronic camera, like a very good light meter, a very good shutter, electronically controlled, very sharp viewfinder, all the info in the viewfinder you need, without batteries in fact, because this battery will be recharged over and over again. And according to Panasonic, the lifespan of this battery will be around 6 years. So I think this is an alternative for the purists who only want a camera that is fully mechanical. Like I said before, the build quality is very, very nice. Really love this camera. So if you see this type, I can only recommend buy it. It feels very solid, very thorough. It handles very nice, and with that Panasonic batteries, you restore it into the old functions it had when it left the factory. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask them.